Player grades and much more will be discussed on this fun episode of the STLEmpire podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another fun episode of the STLEmpire podcast. I'm Ben. He's Nikko.
What up?
Talking to you about Blues hockey. But first, happy Mother's Day to those who do listen. And what's up to Kat?
What up, dogs?
Oh man, but Nikko, how are you doing, man?
I'm alive. That's all I could ask for, man. Tired, but ready to talk Blues hockey. We've made a couple posts that have been doing really well, and a couple things to talk about that I didn't think we were going to be talking about, but there's been some reports out there that are talk about worthy, and it's going to be fun and interesting to go over all that.
Absolutely. So, I guess let's just go ahead and jump into it. Do you want what rumor do you want to start with, or where do you want to go with this?
Ooh,
You going down a slide or something?
Get your fucking lotion, Ben. I'm tired of this shit. I guess we can start with Jordan Kyrou.
That's a good one. It's a very good one.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this, like, all the stuff that we see. It's not like we're reporting out our ass. This is stuff we see from different accounts on Twitter. So this one was from Bruce Garrioch, Harry Crotch.
I had a feeling you were going to go there as soon as you switched the pronunciation of his last name.
League executives say that Jordan Kyrou of the St. Louis Blues is available. You're looking at a high-end player, a top prospect, and a first. The Blues want a king's ransom for him. So, I mean, Kyrou, we all knew this was kind of going to happen. Is the price really high? Yeah, it should be. I mean, you're supposed to try and sell high on your players, and he's a 35-goal scorer pretty much every season. And I think, personally, I think that's a little too high. But I really do see maybe a high-end player in a first, or maybe a top prospect in a first, but it's going to drop one of those assets for sure.
Absolutely. And it really depends on what kind of high-end player it is. Like, if it's a player like, and this is just to throw out a name, like Matvei Michkov over in Philadelphia, like someone who has talent and promise, but like just hasn't worked out over there. So
yeah,
that's something you could look into. If it's like a for sure talented player now, 50, 60 point guy. And also, I don't know if they're looking, they're probably looking towards the, 20 to 24 age range, I would have to assume, considering that they're going towards this like youth movement. But yeah, I definitely agree. The price is high, but don't forget the price was set high on Justin Falk, and they pretty much got what they wanted, if not maybe just a little bit less for Justin Falk. And let's just, take off the blue colored glasses here for a second. Justin Falk isn't a very good NHL defenseman worthy of a first round pick, third round pick, Buchelnikov and Justin Hall. So with that being said, I don't know where what kind of value they get for Kyrou. This is really not the season to have that kind of high value on him, only because, he scraped by getting 40 something points this season, if that. So it's going to make it look bad or look like the price is insanely high, when in reality, he's on one of the more friendlier contracts in the NHL. Definitely has some goal scoring potential. Just needs someone to center him realistically and consistently too, because with the way that the first line playing, and we discussed this in the last episode, that Holloway and Thomas and Snuggerud are probably going to start off the season at the 26-27 season on the first line. So, and the Blues don't have a second line center right now, so you're realistically just going to see Kyrou play with a bunch of throw-in guys at this point. And I'm not trying to, make it sound like, Dalibor Dvorsky isn't a talented player, that Otto Stenberg isn't a talented player, but yeah, he just needs someone to center him. And there's a few teams that comes to mind whenever they talk about needing a 30, 40 goal scorer winger.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of reports out there, like, the Flyers is a good one. Maybe they want to bounce off Michkov. They obviously needed some sort of scoring help in that second round series against the Canes. Kyrie, I think, with his speed in that lineup would have helped a lot. And plus, he's kind of like a good age to fit in there, especially if the Flyers are going to take that next step. Because Dan Vladar is phenomenal. He had one hell of a playoff run. Um, and then I mean, I've seen a few things on New Jersey. I've seen the New Jersey fan page say maybe you send a package for the 12th overall pick over to the St. Louis Blues, and then the Blues would have whatever it is. But I could see a switch up too. Like if Army's making the decisions too, and if the Devils kind of want to add more goal scoring, um, I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe like a 1-for-1 trade or around there for Timo Meyer, only because the Blues are super interested a while ago and they were on the radar. So that just wouldn't surprise me to kind of get like more of like a power forwardish. But Timo Meyer also hasn't been too phenomenal as well. I'm not sure what other teams in the league might want a goal scoring winger like Jordan. I mean, probably a lot, but like teams that are a lot, you know what I mean.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I think I personally love Jordan Carew. I do think he does need some help. I would personally, I'd love to see him stay in St. Louis. I mean, it would be great to see an awesome return like that. But Kyrie's been a fan favorite for a lot of young fans like Ben and I. Not so much the old folks. But I mean, this is the first season in forever that he hasn't scored 35 goals in the National Hockey League. He's been bouncing around the lineup, like Ben said. It's just like when you have a first line that Thomas is occupied, who's that center? I mean, the next center is going to be Pius Suter, or sometimes Pavel Buchnevich, which we all know is not the greatest. Like Kyrie needs some help, and if we can make that work for him, that'd be awesome. I'd really enjoy that, and I'd love to see him stay in St. Louis. But I also bet you that if he can't find anyone to kind of like feed him the way he deserves to be fed, he probably would want a fresh start in a different area to where he could continue to grow his game and everything. He's a great player, and if something happens, wish him the best, obviously. But we'll see how it goes. It's interesting.
Absolutely. And um, when we think about teams, I know I mentioned Philadelphia, and you kind of piggybacked off of that. But I think another fun team for Jordan Kyrou is a team that just barely missed out on the playoffs, and realistically should have made the playoffs. Is the Columbus Blue Jackets? They had a phenomenal season this year, and they're looking. I'd be shocked if they didn't add to that forward core that is still young and hungry. But with that being said, uh, I think Jordan Kyrou would be a perfect fit over in Columbus. Still staying in the Midwest, not too far, so you may not have to really move all that much. I mean, if you do, who cares? You're a multi-millionaire, you can do it. But with that being said, you could see something like a King Johnson come over from Columbus, as well as a first-round pick, someone that really hasn't kind of panned out like they would have liked, and then also the first-round pick. You still don't get, everything else. I still even think that's a king's ransom in that sense. Uh,
Yeah,
but
and I do think too, um, for return, I don't see this trade happening until after the draft is done. Polly's promise. Only because I think the Blues have so many prospects that are kind of right there. I mean, Carbonneau is now playing in the AHL. I mean, Juracek. I mean, we have a bunch of players, and it's just I think after the draft and see who we get in the draft, I think um, maybe Kyrie will be sent away for maybe a defenseman. Who knows? Like maybe they'll go a different direction just based off how they draft because they drafted a bunch of D guys. I mean, you had Juracek, you had Ralph, you had Fisher, all in the first 2 rounds that one year. And then, I mean, you drafted Lindstein in the first round. You drafted Dvorsky. You're missing centers right now, so I'd love to see the Blues if they were to go in the draft. I'd love to see him kind of pick up a center.
absolutely,
Or maybe with this trade here, they kind of set themselves up to bring in a young center. Maybe the Seattle Kraken are still interested and they send over Shane Wright. Do I think Shane Wright is the answer? No, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction the St. Louis takes in regards in a trade to Jordan Kyrou. So um, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and I think it'll be really interesting.
absolutely. Another name that's kind of popped up into the rumor mill as of the last 20 minutes or so. We just put out a post. Is Colton Parayko. I know that he rejected the trade to Buffalo. Um, which I wonder what he's thinking now. Do you think that he regrets that decision now that they're, I mean, I hate to say deep into the playoffs, but like they're playing really good hockey. And
It,
imagine like that instead of Luke Shen.
you know what? I think Colton Parayko would help them immensely right now, considering that they're down 3-1 in Montreal, about to go down the series 2-1. I don't think Colton Parayko regrets it. I mean, like, Parayko is the kind of guy that I feel like he's already won his Stanley Cup. He's already making his money. He loves being in St. He obviously absolutely loves being in St. Louis. I think it would have to be the perfect destination. And this report that we posted, it was the Senators are kicking tires. I think he declines that trade over to the
Yeah,
Senators, in full honesty.
absolutely.
Blue Note Coverage, a fellow, Blues a fan page here that does a lot of reporting, saying he highly doubt he decline Buffalo just going to Ottawa, which I agree. He thinks that he might be in a package for the second overall for San Jose if the Blues and San Jose Sharks want to, I don't know, deal for the second overall pick, which is going to be tough. That's tough. But maybe, yeah, you never know. Maybe. But we do know after he did decline the Buffalo trade, he did say, I mean, there was reports going on. He would love to move out west to the West Coast, specifically Anaheim. So I mean, I love Parayko. Again, same instance. Longest tenured Blue. I'd love to see him be the longest or the most games played at St. Louis Blue. He's getting there, and he could get there by the end of his contract. He's still a solid player. I think if anything, he would really be a really solid second pair guy in the future. One of those veterans like a Jay Bouwmeester, I think, when they won the cup. So I think either way, if you keep Colton Parayko, I think that's a win. I still think he brings a lot of value. He's got the size. He's got a good stick on him. When he uses the body, it's good. It's effective when he does. The only thing I'd love to see from him is the puck in the back of net a little bit more. I mean, the previous season he had a lot of goals, and then this last season I think it was only like 2 to 3 goals. So down year for him for sure. But they did have a trade, first and redeem Merca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean we know the value of Parayko when he's having a rough year. Yeah, these two cats. Dokes! Hey. All these cats do are
For
fucking
those
each
who
other.
missed the live episode of us watching the draft lottery, which we'll
Look
probably
at
touch
them.
into later, Nikko got a new cat, but good for him, and glad I guess they're getting along somewhat okay.
Yeah, they're playing. It's just Dokes goes too rough, man. Way
That
too
makes
rough.
I understand that for sure. But you're definitely correct on what Parayko's value is. We saw what it is. It's the former 7th overall pick in the NHL draft and a first round pick, and that was almost completed. Obviously, it was pending Parayko's approval, and with that, he obviously declined. And with you mentioning that he wants to go out west, 100% a trade to San Jose could work. I'm just more so worried about, like, as far as trading for the second overall pick. I just don't know if that happens, and we'll get into some questions later, which will more than likely involve trading up in the draft, let alone trading for the second overall pick. I don't want to answer too much of that right now. I want to answer the question later, um, but definitely San Jose could be a player into that, and Anaheim as well. Like, you could maybe, it would be a lot of salary cap going both ways, but it would be like Kyrou and Parayko for, like, I don't know, Mintyukov or Olin Zellweger or um, Jackson Lacombe. Like, you could definitely work
Oh,
out something like that.
Jackson Lacombe. We are not snagging that guy.
No, he's a Duck for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd love to go over the idea of San Jose. Was there a question on one of our posts that asked that
Yes, let me go and look and see.
besides from Blue Note Coverage?
Yes, it
Okay.
was. Well, it's kind of two different questions, I guess, in a sense. It's, or two people kind of asked the same question. It's from
I
Jack
see.
Dashney over on the Instagram. Should the Blues try and trade up in the draft? And if so, what does the package look like?
And
And then
Karthik.
Karthik.
Yeah.
also said, well, shout out Karthik. He was pretty
He
active
was
in
in
our
the
live
yeah, he
stream.
was in the live stream. That's fun.
He said, what is a dream offseason for the Blues? Who would you pick in the draft, and would you trade up in the draft? I guess let's address the moving up in the draft. Where do you stand on that as of right now?
I'd be happy with it. I mean, if you do move up, I would really like a solid playmaking winger, like a really solid, smart playmaking winger, and Ivar Stenberg. If you want to draft defenseman, if you want to go Chase Reed, you totally can. You can too. I don't think there's a problem with that. But I think I mean, Steen likes his Swedish boys. If he sees the opportunity to trade up, he can. I mean, I know Parayko is going to be a really, really, really tough loss to that back end, but you do have Lindstein coming up. You clear some cap space. You bring in a scoring winger, and I mean, with that, you could also potentially move Kyrou for who? I think whatever we see happen, there's going to be a big domino effect with this roster. So I think come the draft, what we see in the draft, if they do move up, I think it's in the realm of possibility. I don't think the Blues prospect. I mean, it would be really nice for the prospect pool, and I would say after about pick, I don't know, maybe 60. Like when it gets past 20, I think the quality of prospects kind of drop off a little bit. But do the Blues need to bolster the prospect pool that heavy? How close are you to making that roster fully competitive to be, a scary option for top three in the Central? I think I think they're closer than you think. I think they're really competitive with Utah. I think Utah had a great run. I think they built a good roster. I don't think St. Louis is too far behind them. We're gonna get, a full hope, knocking on wood, a fully healthy season from Holloway, fully healthy season from Thomas, fully healthy season from Snuggerud, and Snuggerud was on pace to be one of the best rookies this year. I saw it was NHL Gateway comparing the two
Yeah,
between
Demidov.
Demidov, yeah, and
Yeah.
Snuggerud, and they were pretty much on pace. If Snuggerud played all 82 games, he was on pace for 60 points, as Demidov had 63 points. A little bit more assists, but Snuggerud in his less games played had more goals. I think he had 21 goals.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
jersey
Finished the
number.
season with 21. Yeah, that's pretty sick, though.
It is sick, but like it's just there's so many things that this team could do with the roster that make themselves competitive. I that's where that's where I kind of get my head about, like, if they were the trade Parayko and package Parayko to move up to the second overall pick, you're losing a very big presence in the back end. Very big presence. That's a step back. If you're looking to kind of win now, that's a step back. If you're looking to turn around in the next season or two, that's a step back. Unless you trade Kyrou and you pick up a defenseman that takes Parayko's spot, I don't know what defensemen are going to be available out there. Somebody potentially, but it's so there's a lot they could do. They could take a step back, and then they can also take a really big step forward depending on what they do after that. It's hard. It's hard. What are your thoughts, Ben? I need to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines as you. Is like if you trade Parayko, you're really putting a lot of faith into what Logan Mayu has to offer. And
Yeah.
this is not, to say that these guys won't pan out, but you're also, you know, putting a big hole in your defensive core. Like you said, it's the longest tenured blue, and also you got to see what you have in Adam Jiricek first in the American Hockey League before I think you end up moving off Parayko, unless you, like you said, add a big defenseman via trade, like a Kyrou trade or whatever that entails, whether you trade picks, prospects, players. Because I think the Blues are kind of in a position where they could also add a prospect. Maybe not a Justin Carbonneau or Adam Jiricek, but maybe more so like a Quentin Burns or a Lucas Fisher, etc. So, um, but yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to say because I could totally see San Jose just going out there full throttle, picking up one of the top two forwards in the draft. Either that or, as you mentioned, they take Chase Reed, which Chase Reed is one of the best defensemen that I think we've seen in the draft in quite some time.
Yeah,
Well,
he's awesome.
specifically in the top, in the first round. Lane Hutson's a really good defenseman that we saw go in the second round, but more so projectable right now that we're looking at or in whatnot. But it is really tough to say. Steen really loves his Swedish wingers. Apologies. And with him becoming the full-time president of hockey operations, does make you wonder what direction does he lean. Now, with that also being said, Doug and Steen think a lot alike. That's been said, that's been rumored, that's what's been told to us. So uh, I really don't know. They could go in 5 trillion different ways this offseason. And I say that in, exaggerating, but it's really a weird situation. They could wait on Kyrou and Pareko, and if they have a good season, flip them at the deadline. Um, they could trade Kyrou and Pareko this offseason to clear up a bunch of cap space. And they could go out and sign a defenseman and trade Pareko. You really don't know. And I also don't know what the price of San Jose's second overall pick is. You could see teams that are already in the top 5 move up to that second overall pick, considering
Yeah.
that, San Jose is pretty much dangling that second overall pick. That's best case scenario for them besides winning first overall. I mean, you move from 9 to 2. That's just unreal.
Yeah,
Good for
move it.
them. Happy for them.
They were so close to playoffs. They have Macklin Celebrini. Build around that. You have Michael Misa. You have all the young pieces. Go pick up. Go. Low key, they should go after a Kyrou to play on like an actual goal scorer to play on the ring with Macklin.
Absolutely.
They should go after something. But something I wanted to go over about Kyrou too, like if they were to trade Pareko, and if Kyrou is being dangled right there, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if. I mean, the New Jersey Devils have the defensive prospect pool a little bit there. I mean, you have Anton Salayev, who was the I think 10th overall pick in 2024, the Juracek draft. He's like 6'6" or 6'7".
Yeah, he's a very tall defenseman.
You have Seamus Casey. I mean, you have Simon Nemec too. I mean, they have some defensive prospects there that I think would potentially, you know, eh, not be as big as a step back as with trading Colton Pareko. What's another team that may have been interested that we were talking about for Kyrou?
For Kyrou, Islanders were a big one. They were a big one at the deadline to really push for him.
Schaefer!
Imagine getting Matthew Schaefer for Kyrou.
Yeah,
We'd lose that trade instantly too.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe they'd be interested in sending away Keishon Aitchison. I mean, I know the Blues are kind of on that, and they are interested, and maybe they could kind of pry him off the Islanders' hands if they pick up a goal scorer winger and Jordan Kyrou. I mean, you got options. I think you could for sure pick up a solid defenseman, for sure, in the a National Hockey League defenseman who's young.
Absolutely.
I still think it would be a big step back, but
100%. Because although his offensive game isn't really like there, at least it wasn't last season, his defensive game is still elite of the elite. He plays an elite defensive game, and as you mentioned, a Jay Bouwmeester type player right now in his career, like a veteran player, isn't going to really score you, 40 points a season. Might be lucky if he scores you 25, 30, which is totally exceptional considering what his defensive value is. But yeah, you're taking a huge step back. But that's also committing to the future. That's committing to Logan Mailloux. That's committing to Theo Lindstein. That's committing to Adam Juracek. So, and with this 84-game season and the new format of the preseason, I don't think that the Blues are going to get that good of a look at Adam Juracek in the American Hockey League style of play, or the American style of play of hockey. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and looking over, touching base on what you were saying a little bit earlier with cap space and trading Colton Pareko, I'm trying to look over like defensemen that are available. It's nothing crazy. If it's nothing crazy for the same amount of Colton, I mean, you're probably going to pay somebody a little bit more than Colton Pareko to get a Colton Pareko type defenseman, like a Jacob Trouba, John Carlson, but he's old. He's an old fart. Rasmus Anderson would be interesting, but he's picky on where he goes. So I
I
don't.
thought he signed it, or I guess he still hasn't signed an extension with Vegas.
No, he is not. He is not yet. So I bet you he'd be willing to sign an extension in Vegas, but he was so picky about going specifically to Vegas. I bet you he doesn't want to come to St. Louis. And maybe money would change that. You never know. Maybe he'll see the vision. It's all about selling the vision to these guys, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think this free agent class is really anything to be drooling over unless you want a Logan Stanley. Unreal. But Yeah, we'll see. Ooh, yeah. Ugh. Oscar
I think
Sundquist.
I think another. Are you looking on Spot Track or Spot Rack or whatever it's called?
I'm looking at Puckpedia.
Okay, Puckpedia. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
better place to look. On this one website called Spot Track, um, or Spot Rack, whatever it's called, they have Philip Kurashev as his former or previous team, the St. Louis Blues. I'm like, I don't recall Philip Kurashev ever playing for the Blues.
He didn't. He for
Uh,
sure didn't. Matthew Joseph is a free agent.
yeah, he's such a fast and intense winger. Um,
Brandon Saad.
Going back to the trade market and such, I think a very valuable piece that could be pawned off for a better forward. Well, I say pawned, but like he's an upcoming RFA. Um, Going back to Philadelphia, like the Blues want um, a good player and a first round pick in return. You could make that good player Jamie Drysdale. Drysdale's really kind of found his game over in Philadelphia after being traded from Anaheim. He's 24 years old. He has enough NHL experience to where if you do want to move off of Parayko, I don't think it's as big of a step back. It is still a step back. Don't get me wrong. You're taking a lot of faith in a huge jump, um, getting rid of that good of a defensive defenseman. Um, but but yeah, I mean, there's an option there. Like I said, there's so many different options that the Blues could go with this offseason to where you could come up with the combination of different events taking place, and I'll be like, yeah, I could see that happening because truly, there's a lot that you can do.
Yeah. There is, and the other half is that we have to remind ourselves as fans too is like, will the opposing team be willing to move said player? Which is
Absolutely.
tough. It takes two to tango in these trades. So, um, we can't just turn on the Xbox and get going. It's tough because I'm looking at all these guys too, and it's just like I'm trying to be real. Like Rasmus Anderson, I'm trying to be real, saying he won't sign here, but part of me still hopes. Or maybe you go, oh shit, sorry. Maybe Brant Clark. You get UFA or RFA Brant Clark. He had 40
Or you
points.
go after someone who hasn't really had like much of NHL experience, in kind of a Logan Mayu similar esque player in Simon Nemec, that has been rumored to be dangled this offseason from the New Jersey Devils.
I
Good
think that's a
offensive defenseman.
yeah, yeah. I mean, very very real option there. Very real option.
The Blues are in a good spot. I mean, let's be real. They have 3 first round picks. They have a 30 goal scoring winger, um, that that has contract and term on a reasonable contract as well when he's playing, uh, up to standard. They have a good defensive defenseman that holds significant value considering a trade was done and it was for a former 7th overall pick and a first rounder. You also have a goaltender in Jordan Bennington, that you still have as well. I don't know what his value is. I can't sit here and say, oh, it's a first and a third, or it's a 2 seconds. I really don't know.
Keep
But
him.
I think that's what you have to do realistically at this point in time. Like, I think Bennington is going to bounce back just because that's what Bennington does year in, year out. Um, but yeah.
I mean, by the time his contract is done, he's going to be 34, maybe 35 years old, which is crazy. Holy shit. That's insane.
I mean, he came in the NHL when he was like, what, 28, 27?
How many years ago? It was 7 years ago.
Or he might have been like 25
25.
or
Yeah,
26.
he's 25. He's my age. I'm a loser. Jesus Christ.
So pretty much just be ready whenever or whenever you're just sitting around at the house, just be ready for the phone call from Doug Armstrong that he's
Oh,
gonna give you.
trust me. I'm fucking ready.
Yeah.
Imagine. Ha!
Is that the
Ha!
Cujo stick?
Ha! It is the Cujo stick.
That is the
Whap.
Cujo stick. Oh man. Well, speaking of goalies and the questions that we have, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you gonna
Bitch.
say? I'm sorry.
I forget now.
I'm sorry. But one of
Oh,
the
but keep him. He'll
questions.
be a backup. That's what I was gonna say. Make him the backup to
Oh
hope for
yeah.
the starter.
Yeah, and that's the thing though with Bennington is like in the press conference he made it really clear that he wants to be a contender. And I think one of the weirdest questions that you could have asked a starting NHL goaltender on a lengthy contract from I'm not going to say who it was, um, but someone asked him, does he see himself as a backup or does he see himself as an NHL caliber starting goaltender? Like, what kind of question is that? I like.
He obviously sees himself as an NHL caliber goaltender. He still has it in him. We all know it.
Absolutely.
Team should be going like Edmonton should be all over that. McDavid is gone. McDavid's gone. Like you have to capitalize. You have to win a Stanley Cup if you want to keep Connor McDavid. McDavid's gone. Not this offseason, but just like a near future. He signed that 2-year deal. And then Puckpedia, they put out it's like McDavid, if he were to actually decide to leave, he's gonna be traded. It's not gonna be for
Yeah.
nothing as a free agent. So, like, you have to get something done with him. You have to, and the Oilers should have been all over Bennington when they got Jari. I don't know. They should have paid up for Benner. He's clutch. He's good. You saw him in the Olympics. McDavid should have said, "I want this guy too." He played with Jordan Bennington. It's like, yeah, shame.
And especially with the emergence of Georgi Romanov in the AHL, who's been having an insanely good AHL or Calder Cup playoff.
Calder Cup playoffs, yes.
Yeah, shout out to the Thunderbirds. They've been killing it. But with
Yeah,
him, as well as you have Gidloff and Harnstam coming up. I mean, granted, Bennington's probably gone by the time Harnstam is even close to becoming an NHL player. But anyways, with that being said, there's a question. Shout out Goofball over on our Twitter. That literally is his name, Goofball. He says,
Is
"I
it Ben
think the goalie
Gallon?
situation." No. He says, "I think the goalie situation needs to be figured out. I can get behind Hofer as a young goalie who's blossoming, but right now he's either a shutout or blowout with no in between. Defense could also get figured out, and I wish we aimed for a higher pick once it was clear we wouldn't make the playoffs." I mean, yeah, I do agree. We should have aimed for a higher pick once we were out of the playoffs. But with that, with that NHL, I don't know why lottery draft. I don't know why the word lottery was slipping my mind. But with the lottery, the Maple Leafs went from 5-1. Vancouver went from 1-3. Chicago 2-4. So it was pretty much worst case scenario for everyone within the top 10, minus the Maple Leafs and Sharks. So I mean, take it as you will. The Blues still have 3 first-round picks, 2 of them in the top 15, which is the first time ever in Blues history for them to have 2 top 15 picks. But yeah, I also think we kind of touched a little on Hofer being the starter going forward. I think that Hofer is by far the starter going forward. He's a big goalie in the NHL. A lot of these goalies are 6'2" to 6'4". Like Connor Hellebuck is a big goalie. And as you mentioned, if you do end up moving off Bennington to Edmonton, you could take back Jari in a backup role. And I think he's kind of, well, at least right now, he's kind of used to that, considering that Connor Ingram had been playing over him in quite a few games in the playoffs. So, but yeah.
What if the Blues make a big splash?
I don't think it happens.
I mean, they can throw money.
But let's hear it. I'm
Oh,
all
I'm
ears.
just saying, like I'm looking at this right here, just because it's already confirmed that the NHL cap hit next season is going to go to 104 million dollars. The projected cap hit for the St. Louis Blues is going to be 88.1 million. Oh wait, yeah, the projected cap hit next season is 88.1 million. They have 15.85 million dollars to play with, and their only UFAs they have to worry about are, I mean, Berggren as an RFA, Sonny as a UFA, Hull as a UFA, and Matthew Kessel as an RFA. They, if say they do trade Parayko, say they do trade Kyrou, what if you could get a shit ton of cap space and replace them? Like you could, I don't know, you could go after. What if they go after? What if Jason Robertson? I'm kidding. But I don't know. They could throw money around, like, or they could bulk up and wait. Maybe they're waiting for McDavid. They could. They're honestly in a really good spot because I can promise you that Jake Neighbors is not going to get paid more than $6 million when
Unless he
he's up.
becomes a 80 goal winger.
Yeah, which is impossible. I love the kid, but impossible. 24 years old, 2027, 28 is when he's an RFA. I'd say he gets an 8-year extension around like the $6-7 million mark, honestly. Holloway, I mean, that's also the salary cap of next year is including Holloway's extension of 7.75 million. You have Jimmy Snuggerud, same year you got to pay Jake Neighbors, and Jimmy's one that I could see getting. Jimmy's the one that if he has a good next season, he could get paid. He might be
He might be the
low.
first blue to make 10, you think?
Yeah, I think, I mean, going off of Cooley and what Cooley's done, if
Yeah.
Snuggerud keeps up that pace, for sure, I think he can make 10 million. I think, like, unless they do like a bridge deal again, like Holloway, but why would you do that? Just
But if he stays fully healthy, I think it's fair to say that Snugger gets an extension, as you mentioned. Neighbors. Um, Also, got to think of Mayu. What is Mayu's situation going to be like? Um, he was very good post Olympics, actually getting 20 minutes a night, um, if not more than that. So I don't know what they do with Mayu because he honestly looked really good after the post Olympics and
yeah.
actually starting to look like a serviceable NHL defenseman. Makes people question, is that Bolduc and Mayu trade really that bad as people think?
Well, one person we do got to keep an eye on too that I forgot about is also 2027, 28. You do have to pay Joel Hofer,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
which
if you want to pay him.
I think based off his trajectory, I feel like that's the goalie of the future for us. Tied second in the National Hockey League for shutouts.
Yeah, I mean that's
Behind this
awesome.
abysmal defense.
Yeah, that is very true.
Because they played much worse than they did the year prior. I mean, they started locking in like post Olympics, but I mean, he was still almost a 910 save percentage, and played and don't forget his first month, October was
Yeah, it was
butt,
brutal.
and then come December is when he turned it around.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll see with all of that stuff. I definitely think Hofer could get paid. It's just at that point, it's like, do you think Love Harenstam is the goalie of the future, or do you think that it's Hofer at that point? Depends on the projection of what Harenstam does when he comes over to the United States and plays the North American hockey and gets
I,
settled in the AHL.
I would love to see him play. I'd love to see him come over. I mean, he was goaltender of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was SHL goaltender of the year and SHL rookie of the year, which that's never happened before.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just like, which is good because maybe they bring him over next season. You have Zarenko, Cranley, and Romanov. They're all expiring. I would say if you do anything, you extend Romanov to a 2-way deal again because he's playing lights out, and you bring in Love, and you have them be like a 1-2 punch if you want Springfield to be competitive, which I feel like they will. I feel like we're going to see Juracek mostly in the AHL next season. I think Lindstein's finally going to get the call up. I mean, Lucas Fisher is going to stay down there. Quentin Burns going to stay down there. You have Kelly Rosen, and then forward depth. I mean, you're going to keep Justin Carbonneau. You're probably going to lose Stenberg. You could honestly, full honesty, bring up Kaskamaki, have him be the fourth line center, and then why not bring up Dylan Dubé? Because
I
Dylan
think the
Dubé,
Blues have one of the deepest prosper forward cores in all the NHL. Like it is really deep.
yeah, that it really is. It really truly is, and they could have some fun. They could really do some damage, which is good, which is really good. So hopefully Springfield stays competitive next season because we're gonna take a bunch of. I think we're gonna take a good amount of players like Kaskamaki, Stenberg, and Lindstein, um, and then go from there.
It just really depends on like how this offseason goes as far as the forward core because the NHL forward core is so like weird. Like you have Holloway, Thomas, Snuggerud, that's completely fine. All of them are kind of in the same age range. Snuggerud obviously being the youngest out of them, being 21, Thomas being the oldest and 26. Holloway like pretty much right in the middle at 24. But then you go on to the second line and Booch, Suter, Cairo, which I mean, it's not like, let's just be honest, like Suter and Booch aren't really second line players in the NHL in this current day and age. And then you have Neighbors, Bergeron, Dvorsky, Torpo, Finley, Walker. That bottom six just needs some massive work. So,
If you want to be honest, I like bottom six does. I think if you could snag a second line center, like looking at this, because you're on Puckpedia too right now, right?
I'm on Puckpedia and I'm also on a spot track or whatever. But there was a center that I was kind of looking at.
What center are you looking at?
It just really depends on if they extend him, and I think he's an expiring contract. Let me double check. I just want to make sure that I'm not lying to anyone.
You're lying.
Where's he at? Yeah, no, I think he's a free agent after this year, or he's an upcoming free agent. Boone Jenner of the Columbus Blue Jackets, good veteran center. I know that's kind of what they saw in Suter, but I think Suter's more of like a third line winger at this point in time, like which isn't a bad thing. He plays a great two-way game. 40-point guy for sure. Could potentially get to 50 points. But looking at the centers, it's really hard to like pick. Like maybe Charlie Coyle, he's a veteran center. Bring back Blues legend Kevin Hayes, maybe on a cheaper deal. I know Nikko is not liking it.
If the Blues can make some moves, like if they could really make some moves, you should try and bring in a second line center. I don't think Suter's a second line center. Dvorsky, if he has a massive offseason where he grows, he can get there, and I bet you that's what they're banking on, but I personally wouldn't bank on it. But like say, for example, like I'm cool with Dvorsky continue to develop in the NHL and have him be on and off on the third line with Suter. If Suter's on the third line with Dvorsky, I think that's fine. Just bring in a second line guy, and I think you'd be actually looking really good. Maybe they package something and pick up a center somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm kidding.
Over that would be insane. I don't know if New Jersey is willing to do that yet.
That's me playing Xbox.
But yeah, there's just so many different directions that they could go this offseason. I really don't know what direction they go. It just all depends on a personal opinion at this point, really. Like I said earlier in the episode, that you could give me a certain combination of events that would occur in this offseason, and I could be like, yeah, that's a reasonable offseason for the St. Louis Blues. The one thing I don't see happening anymore is Robert Thomas being traded, unless, something absolutely unreal happens. If you get a package of, something you just can't refuse, totally understand that. The Blues aren't really in a, not that they can't become competitive soon, but they aren't in a competitive state right now. Does Thomas fit this team's future? 100%. He fits the age range of what the Blues are trying to aim for. Like he can still play into it. Let's reword it to that. He can still play into it, because I think the age range of what the Blues are kind of aiming for is at like 22 to 24, maybe 25 ish, maybe a little bit younger as well. It's kind of a wide variety if you think about it, but yeah, I don't think Thomas has moved this offseason, but other than that, anything is on the table.
It is. What if they go after like a Dylan Cousins for a second line center?
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. I don't know what Ottawa does in that situation if they ask for Cairo. I think so. They probably do. I would assume so.
Which I'd be okay. I'd be okay with doing. I mean, you could have Suter be the third line. Yeah, I'd be okay with Dvorsky playing second line wing on that right side. Buchnevich, Dvorsky, Cousins. I don't think that would be too bad. I don't know how chemistry matches up. Or Matty Beniers if he becomes available too.
Beniers would be a fun one for the St. Louis Blues. Get a little bit of speed in there. Get a good just overall player, and still young, fits this age range.
Yeah, but Dvorsky's gone.
You think so in that situation?
Most definitely. I mean, Seattle they're in this weird limbo state. I mean, they have Jaden Schwartz. I mean, you have a veteran guy who is a UFA. Jaden Schwartz UFA, Tolvanen UFA, Bobby McMahon, UFA, expiring UFA, who's going to get something. You have a bunch of guys under 22 years old. You have Berkeley Catton, this Nyman guy, Shane Wright. You have who was it? Jake O'Brien is who they drafted too. They have 50 billion goaltenders on their roster. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, it's just like Seattle. Me with them is what direction are you going? Or maybe the Blues go after Jared McCann if you do want to make a run. I mean, he's a center slash left wing. I mean, I love for him to play center, but like you could go after Jared McCann. It's just I don't know. But then you also just signed Stevenson. So do you really want to trade Beniers?
Yeah,
That's
it's a
that's
really
so
tough
tough.
situation.
It's just I feel like I don't see any sort of character with Seattle. Like I don't know which direction. Like, are they pushing to be competitive, or are they rebuilding? Are they retooling? Like, I can't tell you. Their defensive core is old as fuck. I mean, it looks like they were trying to push to be contenders with Vince Dunn, Brandon Montour, Adam Larson, Jamie Alexiak, Ryan Lindgren. I mean, a bunch of big name guys. You have five NHL, one, two, three, four, five NHL caliber defensemen who could all play top four. It's just a goaltending here. Joey Dackord and Philip Grubauer. Get Grubauer out of there. He's a bum. But it's just I can't tell because offensively, like it just doesn't seem like they have anything. Like I don't know. This Seattle team's very interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
that's where Kyrou jumps in. Maybe it's Kyrou and Dvorsky for Beniers. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a very like similar to the Blue. Seattle can go
We're
into
playing
any
Xbox.
direction they want
We're
to.
playing Xbox.
Yeah.
We're done playing Xbox. I'm done. I'm done playing Xbox. Sorry, guys. Sorry to everyone. I'm done playing Xbox.
Oh man. Well, with that being said, with all the rumors and just talking the Blues hockey in general off season, let's jump into something that we've been wanting to do for a little bit here. Let's go ahead and jump into the player grades. I think this is the first time we're really doing this. I don't know if you did this previously in past seasons, doing player grades, Nikko, but
I think I did. Maybe I don't
okay.
remember. My brain's fried.
But anyways, we'll start with the centers. We'll kind of group them into position. We'll do the 6 centers that played for the Blues this season. Um, I don't know. Do you want to include Buchnevich into this conversation, or do you want to
We
leave
could leave
him
him at
for
wing.
wing?
We could leave
That's
him at
fine.
wing. We could go through Thomas, Suter, Dvorsky, Finley, Sonny, and then who else did we say? Stenberg
Stenberg,
play center.
yeah, he he
Okay.
he played center. Like he's labeled as a center, so that's why I was kind of like, yeah, that's fine if you
Yeah,
wanted to. So
we'll go through that six. I think we could both agree. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't say there's a single player on this roster who gets an A.
yeah, I would say there's a player on this roster that gets an A,
The
maybe
only
2
one
or 3.
I'd be interested in giving an A, in full honesty, is Joel Hofer.
Well, we'll have to figure that out when we get to.
Because okay, we're gonna start with Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas B+ for me.
Yeah, it's a tough conversation when you talk about Thomas this season. Like, he's a point per game player. He was injured. I think you still got to give him an A-. Like, it was tough for the first season. Like, I think we're kind of around the same range as far as, B+, A-. I don't think it's that far off. But just because of the fact that he came back and made this team much more competitive than they looked prior to having him fully healthy, I think that's what gives him the little bump up to an A+ for me.
The only thing that I say that is just because you're October to December / January, that first half of the season from everybody, I feel like it was just abysmal. It was
Absolutely.
terrible. It was butt. Let's be honest. It was butt. Um, So that's why I don't want to give anybody like an A. Like B plus, I think is going to be the highest for me. Besides Hofer, I consider because he was stellar. But it's just like, hey, if I were looking at the back half, if I were looking at 2026, yeah, I would give Thomas Holloway and Stuggert all A's. But I'm looking at 2025, 2026. And I'm including that 2025 portion, so that's where I'm hesitant. So, I mean, like you said, nearly point per game player. He lit it up back after the Olympic break. Thomas for sure for me is a B plus. Stellar player. Hopefully he picks it up, and I could give him an A plus 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 next season when he plays a full 82 games and like scores 100 points.
Yeah, it's. I totally understand where you're coming from in this situation. Like, you have to take the full season into account. But with that being said, when you look at the stat sheet, it still shows, 64 points, 64 games. Not even that. He almost had 30 goals in the 64 games, which is like pretty unusual for Robert Thomas.
It is.
So seeing him, get on the score sheet a little bit in terms of goals,
I mean,
that's
he had 2 hat tricks.
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm kind of around that range of a B plus, A minus, and I also do agree that there are very few players that deserve any sort of, okay. I was going to say, I didn't think that there was any player on this team that deserved any praise. They're good hockey players. Do not get me wrong when I say that. But just how abysmal the start of the season was just unreal. But yeah,
you got to
A
take that
minus
into
for
account.
me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's really tough to say. Like, he wasn't even fully healthy at the start of the season. Like, he was still playing off of that injury from 2024. Not the 24 season, but the 24-25 season where he was, I think he injured himself against Winnipeg or Colorado, and just kind of played through it.
All right. I guess next up, we have P.S. Suter. What do you give Suter?
It's tough to say because I feel like he played a good defensive game. He was on pace for being a near half a point per game player, 0.45. But I'd say with Suter, I'd give him a C plus, maybe a C. Nothing spectacular about his game. As I mentioned earlier, he's a good two-way player and plays, a good third line game. Given that his contract kind of pays him around what third line players would be getting paid. With that being said, he came in here to become a second line center. That's why I'm probably going to give him a C, just because he was supposed to come in here, play second line center, was not the second line center that the Blues were wanting this year. Face-off percentage was abysmal. Just nothing spectacular. Again, nothing spectacular about his game. I like him. I like that he plays an unnoticeable game, meaning like, there's nothing that he does that's like, oh my gosh, why is he doing that? But yeah. What about you?
I'm in the same boat. I'd go C minus. I just feel like I was honestly like I expected a little bit more from him. I mean, face-offs especially, and it was atrocious. I mean, we saw him on the fourth line a good chunk. With Walker gone, we saw Toropchenko, Finley, and Suter. I just feel like from Suter it was a little underwhelming. I felt like it was third line play. I mean, great third line center. It just I don't know. And again, like defensive side of the puck, like he was solid and he was hurt for a little chunk there. Like he's a good NHL player. I was just underwhelmed a little bit, so that's why I give him a C minus. I just expected a little bit more, just a little bit more. I for sure, like you said, expected them to be more competitive for the second line center spot, with Braden Shen, who I will give a D. Since we're not, I mean,
I honestly, let's throw in Braden Shen.
Yeah, fuck you, Suter. We're on the Shen. Shen, you get an F. You suck.
No, I like Braden Shen, but
I would say honestly, I'd give him the same grade as a C minus.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm leaning. I honestly,
he still scored some goals, and he could lay the body, and he for a hockey, he's a hockey player. Like when you think of a hockey player, he's a hockey player, and expectations were, I guess, kind of on par for him. It's just I expected a little bit more point production, but he was only around for pretty much first half of the season. That's gonna be tough to produce points when you're when you have that kind of like
Yeah.
hump to get over.
I did want to touch a little bit on Suter. He actually did a little bit better than what I imagined him as a second line center in terms of faceoffs. 48.4%. So like just a little bit under 50%, but still, considering you're supposed to be the second line center, it is pretty sucky that your faceoff percentage is below a 50.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, but I do agree with Shen though. C minus, I'd probably go like D plus. And I say that because he's supposed to be the captain of the team. He's supposed to be rallying these guys, putting out, not that he didn't put out a good effort every night, but he's supposed to set an example. And if you want me to be completely honest, it didn't really look like that this season. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that this season did not go anywhere close to what he and the rest of the team expected.
Yeah.
So, but that's my rating for Shen.
All right. Next up, we got Dalibor Dvorsky. Dalibor Dvorsky. I I'll give Dvorsky a C, and maybe a C plus here. I was not expecting him to play this much, to be
Yeah,
honest. I,
I'm in
I
that same boat as well.
I did not see him playing 71 games, and I mean he had 12 goals, 9 assists, 21 points. He made some great plays. He has a cannon of a shot. They tried utilizing on that a little bit on the power play, which is good. But like my thoughts. I think he's a little slow. I don't think he's. I don't think he. I think he needs to bolster up his speed. I think he needs to get a little bit bigger. But for our 2023 first round pick, it's I kind of don't have any big complaints. I mean, it's his first almost full season in the National Hockey League. Like I think that's huge. 71 games played. It's just I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining too much. So that's where
Yeah,
I'd say a solid C is good for him. I'd even bump that up a little bit just because I felt like there was a lot of times where he had a good stick, and he was really smart with getting stuff out, but he also made some boneheaded rookie decisions. So I don't know, maybe C plus, maybe C plus. I'd go for him.
yeah. I think I'm gonna stay in the same range as I was like last time, like C minus, maybe C plus. I mean, not C plus, excuse me, C minus or C. Um, Defensively, he definitely needs to figure things out. Trying to become that second line center that the Blues are wanting just didn't really look all that comfortable defensively this year, and um, I don't know. And I know it's hard for him to kind of uh, know where to play defensively when first off the entire team is just juggling the lines, as well as him not playing center full time. He played wing. He played everywhere, which is good in the sense of him being versatile. But if he wants to learn how to become a center, kind of need to just stick him there and let him play. But
Yeah,
but yeah, I liked his time on the power play. He has good playmaking abilities. It's just as you mentioned, a little bit on the slower side on the ice. Um, but yeah, I'll go with this. I'll go with a C. He's a rookie, 20 years old. He came into the league, 19 years old. So I'll go with a C.
yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, I'm happy that he did what he did. Like, I don't think it was terrible. I mean, it's his first NHL season at 20 years old. It's gonna be different. All right, next, Jack Finley. Jack Finley, I'd give. I don't know. It's tough to grade him because there was like zero expectations. I would say I'm doing grades based off of like how I expected them to play in their roles, and um Finley I don't think was too noticeable. He came in on the penalty kill. I think he was decent on the penalty kill. He's got good size on him. He's 23. He's a young guy. Um, I would give him maybe another like a C minus. I don't think for the way he came in, like he was playing AHL with Tampa, or or press box, gets put on waivers. St. Louis picks him up. He comes, moves to a new city. Like I wasn't really expecting much, but he was fine. That's where a C or C minus is where I'd put him. Nothing too spectacular, but nothing like just saying like go fuck yourself, you suck.
Yeah, I totally understand that. With him, I'm going to give him a B minus. I really liked his game, very fast, and like for his size, I think he's pretty fast. Solid playmaking abilities, um, good defensively, solid at the draw, 52.7%,
Oh, good plan.
comparing to what we had before with Oscar Sundquist being our fourth line center, and um, considering his speed, and we'll touch on him in just a second here. Uh,
Yeah.
I really like Jack Finley. I think he's definitely someone that you can go into next season and the next few seasons and maybe have him as your fourth line center.
Can I trade? Can I switch my grade for him?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna do C plus, just because I forgot he's one good looking fucking guy. He's a good looking dude, isn't
Yeah,
he? Like, yeah, his beautiful blue eyes. Like,
yeah,
okay,
it's crazy.
I'll give you a plus for that, little bro. Teacher's
But
favorite, bro.
yeah, he was solid with the Blues. I mean, being a fourth line player, I wouldn't expect a player to have more than maybe like 20 points a season playing a full 82. He
Yeah,
had 2 points this season with the Blues, three with Tampa. Um, as you mentioned, solid on the penalty kill. Good player. I really enjoyed watching him play fourth line minutes. But
yeah.
next, as I mentioned, you have Oscar Sundquist, Sonny D.
You start it.
Um, boy, where do I begin?
You want me to start?
You can start it because I have some rants about Oscar Sundquist.
F.
Yeah,
It's just you Sunquist, who's a phenomenal guy, phenomenal for the city, for the fucking city of St. Louis. And that I love you, Oscar. I truly do. Like I love you. You put in blood, sweat, and tears into the city of St. Louis. Um, it's just tough to give Oscar Sunquist a good grade when you get battled out. You pick up Jack Finley off waivers. He immediately cuts out Oscar Sundquist. Dalibor Dvorsky cuts out Oscar Sundquist too. You have two guys, young guys, who I would say weren't projected to make the roster. Take over Sonny's spot as Sonny was. I feel like before the season, like our fourth line guy. You know what I mean? And Sonny just didn't really play that much, which kind of stinks. But that's just the way it is.
yeah. I mean,
You're
you
gonna
were honestly a little
see.
bit nicer than what I was gonna say for Oscar. I was gonna say like a D minus. He actually put up points
I
this
said
year.
an F. You're nicer.
Well, I mean, sorry, I meant harsher. Excuse me. um, but yeah, he actually put up some decent amount of points for being a fourth line player. He's just so physically. I
He's
just
hurt.
don't know if he can play in the NHL much longer at a competitive level. Um, I just don't know where he fits on this team, let alone many other teams. Uh, Teams are looking for speed and physicality. Sunquist brings maybe a 3/4 of the physicality, maybe half of the physicality. It's just physically he tore both his ACLs, dude. He's cooked. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It really sucks. Like
it does.
defensively, it's just not good. Offensively, it's okay. It's if he can become an average defender, um, he becomes one of the better fourth line players um, you could have. I mean, 17 points at 52 games for someone that was averaging uh, near 13 minutes. I mean, that's not terrible. That's fairly good production. Um, I'm gonna go with a D minus on this
That's
one. I
fair.
know I said maybe D, but D minus. I like the point production from Oscar. It's just the fact um, that he's just so abysmal defensively right now, and I truly hope and pray that he becomes a serviceable NHLer in the future. Maybe does some rehabbing this offseason, figures out, what to do. But yeah, D-
Let's call it.
for Oscar
Tire.
Sundqvist. Become a member of the Blues for all time.
They'd give him a spot.
They would.
No doubt.
They would. Absolutely.
No doubt. That's it for our grades, huh? For this.
Do you have Stenberg?
Oh, Stenberg. Stenberg was a B for me. Maybe even a B plus. Plays with a lot of speed, a lot of skill, great playmaking ability. I was genuinely really surprised how much better than Dvorsky he was, to be honest, in my mind. Like, based off of just eye test, I was very impressed with his play for the games I watched with him. So I'd for sure give Stenberg a B. Young player, first-round pick, drafted 20-something overall in the 2023 draft. That was the Dallas. Right? That was Dallas's first round? No, because we got Dallas's first round from the Rangers. So that was Lindstein. Or was it the first-round pick of the Rangers?
From Toronto.
From Toronto for Ryan O'Reilly. Yeah. So, I was impressed with Stenberg. Like, really. And I know you're a big Stenberg guy, but I wish that he generated a little bit more points. But I think he's going to be a great NHL player. Like, really good.
Yeah. I think that's someone that you could honestly just kind of throw him to the Wolves and he'll succeed kind of situation right now. Like, truly, he's 20 years old and similar to his brother, super smart, super talented. If he were a little bit better on the faceoff dot, and I know that's kind of been the story of what we've been talking about for these centers for the past, 20 minutes or so. But if he can truly become a better guy at the faceoff dot, that's someone you for sure could plug in as your second line center. I mean, that's a good two-way forward. That's, probably a 50, 60 point guy. Tell me if I'm overrating him a little bit there. I don't know if I really am.
32 games played this season, 10 points.
As a 20-year-old.
Yeah, at 20 years old, I mean, he pretty much was he was 10 points behind Dvorsky in the half amount of games. Actually, you know what? I felt like that he looked better.
He did. Just the eye test does it, and I think you're totally right with that. But yeah, I as you mentioned, I'm a big Stenberg guy. Love Otto Stenberg. Love. He just plays such a well-rounded game. And what's crazy to me is the fact that Ivar is getting the same amount of talk, but he's also projected to go second or first overall. So I can't imagine what he's going to be like in the NHL.
Imagine if we do trade up and we pair the brothers together, bro.
That would be so much fun.
That'd be sick.
Yeah,
Kyrou plus 11 for 2.
Kyrou 11 and Colorado's.
I don't know. I would say I would probably keep 11 and do the other 2 first. I would say do 15 and 31. Let's be honest. Colorado's.
But it's also does San Jose really want to get picks? Wouldn't they want NHL players at this point in time?
Yeah. I would for sure say yeah, but at least with this, you pick up an already NHL. We're going back to trade talks. This is funny, but you pick up Kyrou, who's scoring goals, who would pair really well with Macklin, and then you also pick up, say that happens at the draft. Right? Say they get picks 15 and let's call it 31 plus Jordan Kyrou for the second overall pick. The St. Louis Blues pick Stenberg. They pair the Stenberg brothers. Everyone's happy. San Jose could package those 2 first and pick up they could get another NHL player.
Absolutely.
You could look at another team that's just fully rebuilt, and you could say, all right, I have these 2 first-round picks. Give me an NHL player that doesn't want to play for your bum-ass team anymore.
That is very true. Very, very true. But with that being said, those are the first player grades that we have for the next month or so. We'll just go by the positioning. I don't know if you want to just group them as left wingers or if you want to group them in wingers total, do both left and right wingers next episode.
Yeah, we could do that.
So, but yeah, any final words, thoughts, maybe concerns?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, guys, we appreciate all the support that we've been getting recently. It's been an absolute blast putting out this kind of content for you guys. Thanks again for showing up in the live draft watch party. Depending on what you're doing, Nikko, might be doing something like that again for the actual NHL draft, which will be fun. That'll be an exciting night. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it from the both of us. A little bit longer of an episode here, about like an hour and 10 minutes of recording. We appreciate you guys watching, and let's go Blues.
Hey, hey, the Blues is all right. Hey, hey, the Blues is all right.